All right, what's going on? It's a beautiful Wednesday. We trying another setup. Check this out. So the other day I was like, man, I can't really concentrate with the beat playing, right? But then it's like, so I was thinking, this is how my mind works. I got these a Bluetooth controller. It's like a ring, a magic ring that has control. CCs could come from it, right? So I was gonna set it up so I could push the button, so wear the ring, push the button, and I could mute the track and then jump back into the track when I want to rap. But I didn't set it up last night, and I didn't want to waste time doing it this morning. But then I'm like, I could just take my headphones off. Problem solved. And then when I want to rap, put the headphones back on. But yeah, man, simple solutions. I think everything falls into that category. We humans try to be doing all this complicated stuff when the answer is like as simple as take off the headphones. But then it'd be like, you could be telling a whole bunch of people and they'll be giving you all these crazy ideas because they're kind of vibing with what you said. And there might be one guy or gal in the room and they're like, why don't you just take off the headphones? But they don't want to say it because it's so simple and they think it's stupid. But yeah. So also this morning I was going to announce the winners of the contest. But I knew I wouldn't be able to remember it, so I was going to write it down, but I forgot to write it down. So I will announce it tomorrow. So that gives you 24 hours or so. All right. So I like to thank everyone who joined my live last night. I love you guys, man. One, because I was looking at the feed, the playback, and it was choppy as hell. But you know, people were rocking with me. The audio seemed okay, but I gotta listen through. I'll get that worked out. For the video, I'm not using so 360 cameras can just record flat, so I'm doing it that way. So if the angle gets weird, because I gotta hold it kind of perpendicular, 90-degree angle, otherwise the whole thing's gonna like shift. I should be okay, should be, but please forgive me if I forget. Today's also so lately I've been seeing these, like, what do you call these? They got three-wheel vehicles, like little buggies. I seen one in Philly. That guy was blasting his music, enjoying life. Why didn't I hit the button? I'm just gonna run for it. So I'll keep running for it. But right. So yeah, today's Wednesday, and I think I'm gonna do the open mic. But I mean, I could do what I've been doing, but I always want to do something different. But I don't have time. Actually, it's crazy. I got nothing but time. I'm not working, but I don't like if I go up there. I guess these are all excuses. I can do it if I want to, but I'll figure it out. Maybe there'll be some footage. Yo, so yeah, we could one-hand it up. So Mike. So when I was in Japan, right before I left, I met this woman from Hong Kong, and we met on Bumble, but not under the dating part. It was business related, because it has that feature. And I told her I do music, and she said she has a traditional drum from China. She's trying to sell it online or something. So I was like, cool, let me sample that. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm gonna sample it and make it into a sample pack and try to sell it. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but sounds interesting. So then we met up, and she brought out the drum, and you know, it was cool, whatever. And then I had the H6 with me. I had the 360, and we did our thing. So I was using this setting, how the camera's set up right now, but I had it on manual setting. So it was like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. So we did this thing where I was just walking like this, and then I walk over to her, and then I flip. It's like she's playing her drums. Then I flip the drums, and then I spit, and then I talk to her, and it was dope. But then when I looked at the playback, that shit was black. You could hear it, but you couldn't see anything. And then this morning I realized what happened. Well, I realized what happened, but this morning, 6, 7, 8 months later, I fixed it, put it back on auto. But yeah, man, I had plans, man. I had plans. Like, we were gonna do more things. She was gonna get more traditional instruments. But yeah, that's life. Life happens. Yo, so check this out. Last night, after I did the live, my dad came upstairs, and he was like, well, he came up the stairs, but he looks in my room and he's like looking at me, because recently he's been like, I told him I went to the doctor to get eyeglasses. I don't need glasses, but I figured since I'm here, let me see what they got to say, and I got it. So he's always like, you know, that's why you people are going blind, because you're always on your smart devices. So he was saying that, and then I said, you want to be on my live stream? He's like, what's that? I said, it's I talked to my friends. He's like, where do they live? I said, some are in Pennsylvania, some are in New York, some are in Cali, some are in England, some are in Germany. He's like, all over the world. I was like, yeah. He said, are there any ladies? Now, I know in my analytics it says 3% are women, which is pretty big, assuming there's what? I mean, number-wise, it said there's 8,000, 7,000, I don't know. I don't care about that number. But it says there's, let's say 10,000, because I can't do the math. So there's 10,000 people, 3% are female, so that's about, what, 3,000? Am I right? That's 10%. 300? Yeah, as I said, I can't do the math. So yeah, there's some women watching me. But I think he thinks it's more like Zoom, where the people will be there. This is more me will be on this side, looking at our own faces on the computer, talking to each other. But it'll be cool. So I think that might happen on. So he said, yeah, I'll do it. Let me know. I'll set it up and I'll do it. So that is unexpected. I didn't ask, so I didn't know. It's one of those things you don't ask. I hate asking. But this one it's low risk. I wouldn't be asking my dad for money. I wouldn't be asking my dad for... Good morning. Look at the dog. But yeah, so that's gonna be interesting. So tune in next Tuesday at Talk with Mr. or Senior Rhyming, although he doesn't rhyme. But yeah. So last night I went to bed around 1, because I was like working on some music. That's what I do now, just work on music. Try to maximize this time. I get deep into the applications. try different shit. And I woke up. Well, I had a dream that I got in an accident. I was backing up and I hit a woman. And I don't think, I was coming out of a parking spot. But when I looked at her car, it looked like I was moving like 80 miles per hour. Her shit was messed it up. But so she comes over and she's just like, do you have your insurance and all that? And I did. And it's in my brother's name. I mean, it is. So my dream is, but anyway. And I was like just getting all nervous. And then in my dream, like, yo, I'm dreaming. This shit is not even happening. I woke up like pop. And then I started working on music. Like, I sleep with my iPad and my iPhone. Overkill, I know. But then I wake up and I just kind of, whatever's not dead, and then I start working on some music. So I was doing Scalar today. So Scalar is all about, you know, chords and all that. But the progression that I want is, it goes like, bum bum bum, dun 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 dun, bum bum bum, dun 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 dun, bum bum bum. So Scalar should be able to, because it could detect your audio and give you the chords. So it should be able to give me that. That's what I want. And then flesh it out. Bass line, strings. So yeah. So somebody was asking me, and I love when people ask me this. They said, what was the name of that beat? And the answer is, there's no name. It's not, it's like a little freestyle, a little improv, just on the fly. But what I need to do, and I'll get to that, I need to like make the beats, finish the beats, name the beats, and then put them somewhere. So in the event someone's like, what's the name of the beat? I'm like, it's called track 1, but that track 1 is on Bandcamp. That's a lot of work, but you know, it's better than the other extreme. Yeah, I deleted it because I didn't need it. Oh, that was a dope beat. Can you recreate it? Probably not. Probably not. Someone suggested that I get a drone. I was like, okay. I had a drone, as most of you know. I had the Air, and I had the big one. I forget the name. But I love my drone. It was an impulse buy. I was walking past the Apple store and I'm like, fucking, I'm gonna get the drone. And it was that. I mean, I always wanted one. I think most guys want toys, and that's a toy to have. I met a guy, right? He said, yo, I saw that you had a drone, and I was like, who is this guy? And that's when he started like reaching out to me, and then we met up. Dope dude. He helped me, like he had like super fast, high-speed internet, and I was having some issues with my samples, because I got a shitload of samples that I paid money for, and they're on a hard drive, but the hard drive was failing, so I was nervous. I wanted it in the cloud, but I wanted it in the cloud, but I couldn't do it because my internet didn't work that way. So I reached out, and he's like, I got you. And for like 8 days, he was moving like almost 1 TB of data. Yeah, I got a lot of sounds that I don't even know that I have, which was kind of the idea. So I took all the samples out of the packs and put them into I separated them by key and then by name. So I got Frank Duke's collection, and then if you go into it, it's just A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. That way, anytime I go in there, it's just really random. But yeah. So someone asked me last night, what's dating like? And I was telling them that I was going to make a video about that. So I haven't really dated much since I've been home. I went on 4 dates, I think. One real, I guess they're dates. Call them 4 dates. And they all kind of ended badly. I don't know if I talked about it before. One date, we were talking. So we're talking via text. These are all social site dating people I met, right? So we're talking on text. She didn't want to talk on the phone. Good morning. She didn't want to talk on the phone. She just wanted to text. And we're talking like every day. Like, I'm making beats and I'm naming the beats her. Her name was Kate. So I have all these beats called Kate. And they were dope beats, man. Dope. And we're talking. I live in Easton. She lives, it said Bethlehem. All right. And we're talking. She works at the university. She likes books. She doesn't really do music. When I came home from Japan, I was just doing a Rubik's Cube or whatever. And she was all like, oh, can you teach me the Rubik's Cube? And I'm just like, yeah. And I'm like, I make music. Like, oh, can you teach me music? I'm like, yeah. So I'm excited. She's on board with what I do. She reads Stephen King books. I can see the spider web. We're gonna get low. And then, so yeah. And then I'm like, you wanna meet up at the bookstore? She's like, oh yeah, yeah. So at this point, we talking every day. Talk. And then, we decided to go to the bookstore. She said she lived in Bethlehem. There's a bookstore in Bethlehem. I'm like, how about this bookstore in Bethlehem? She's like, that's like 45 minutes from my house. I'm like, do you even live in Bethlehem? Well, I didn't say that, but she's like, I don't live in Bethlehem. I'm like, okay. All right, we'll go to the bookstore up by where you live. Like, oh no. I'll come down here. Like, it's not a problem. I'll shake. Oh no. Then why make a big fuss? Anyway, so I get to the bookstore and then I'm sitting there making beats. I got there a little early. The phone rings and it's her. We haven't talked on the phone and she's just like, Matt, oh my gosh, I am going to be 15 minutes late. I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's okay. I mean, I jumped a part. I'm sorry. I don't be memorizing these stories. But before all that happened, we made plans to meet before that. But she had a big proposal to work on. So she had to cancel. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I gotta cancel. And I'm just like, shit happens. It's work. This proposal would give her more opportunities. I'm not one to ever stop someone from fulfilling opportunities. But she's just like, oh no, I'll make it up to you. I'll buy you coffee. You don't gotta buy me nothing. And then she's just like, oh, you're being too easy on me. What? I don't care. You get like maybe 3 times where you're late, 2 times, the 3rd time, then So then, all right, so now I'm sitting in front of the bookstore and she's just like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be late. I'm so sorry. I'm like, whatever. So then I go in the bookstore and I'm looking at some books. I tell her I'm inside. She comes. I look up and I see her and I'm like, you do not look anything like your profile pictures. She had like 6 pictures and she just, I look how I look. So, but whatever. So I'm like, hey, I don't know if I'm a hugger, give her a handshake. I don't do anything. So we get coffee. Well, I get hot cocoa. She buys it. We sit down and we start talking. We talk. We're talking for like 3 hours, man. Just talking. And it was nice. You know, I telling her about my mom passing away, life with dad and the family and etc. And it's nice. And then at 3 hours, she's just like, okay, I gotta go. It was like really abrupt. I'm like, okay. And then I make the joke, because when we were talking on the phone, she said she looks like a librarian. And I said, you know, you really do look like a librarian, because she really looks like a librarian. And while we were texting and she said that, I'm like, yeah, because librarians are sexy, right? Because books are sexy. So the librarian who gets the books, that's my humor, right? So I said that, yeah, you look like a librarian. She's like, is that bad? And I said, what did I say? I said, librarians are people too. All right. And then she said, oh, if that's how you feel. And then she stands up and she's like, thank you. And she just turns around and starts high stepping in the other direction. And I'm like, what? So I decide, because part of me is like, well, you know, whatever. She knew what I meant. Clearly we were talking for 3 hours. Why would I end it on that note? But the other part about me was, you know, people do tend to misunderstand what I'm saying, despite if I'm gonna say something, it's gonna be direct. Why would I be colorful? Because there's a chance you wouldn't get that. So I run up behind her like, hey, where you going? She's like, I'm going home. And I'm like, did I offend you? I as neutral as I can do it, I said, did I offend you? And she's like, yeah, you did. It was really rude. So I'm just like, I take a deep breath. And I said, you remember when we were talking and I said that you look like a librarian and librarians are sexy, blah, blah, blah. And then she was just like, oh yeah, I do remember. And then she started smiling. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought you meant something else. And then I kind of, without saying, if I wanted to say what I was going to say, I would have said it, but I didn't say that, because then, so then she's just like, I'm so sorry. And then I'm like, and I got something for you. So I had some Kit Kats from Japan that I brought her, and I bought her a Rubik's Cube so she could practice at home and whatever, because she said she always wanted to know how to solve one. And then she's all like, oh, I didn't get you anything. You didn't have to get me anything. You just had to show up and not be stupid. But the stupid part, that was just what she was. So then we're sitting there and she's like, okay, well, I gotta go now. And then she looks at me and she's like, can I give you a hug? And I look at her like, why are you asking me? And then she looks at my face like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. What? So then I'm like, yeah. So she gives me this hug, but it's just a weird, who asked for hugs? I don't think, I mean, one lady in Japan, she asked if she could kiss me. Actually, 2 ladies did, maybe more, but they're like, can I kiss you? I'm like, sure. But I knew them much longer, and our conversations were all types of shit. So, but this was just random. So then I go home and I don't call her. She doesn't call or text me. And like a week went by, and then she kind of, hey, what's going on? And I tell her I've been having a really terrible time. She's like, me too. I really don't care about your terrible time. And then that was that. Just faded away into oblivion. And then in the place that I was getting hired for, because she works at that university, so it was possible, or it could be possible, because she said she was on the hiring committee. So when my name came up, she's like, fuck him, do not hire him, he's a weirdo. That could have happened. Or in another reality, I would have got the job. We'd be in the teacher's room, and she comes in and she's like, hi Matt, and I'm like, leave me alone. Well, I wouldn't have said that, but I might have been more colder to her if we haven't been talking. So yeah, that was maybe my second date. And these are like the X-Files, but they don't even deserve to be called X-Files. These are just annoying files. And then the other one, I don't know if I talked about it, but hey, whatever. It's a recap, or it's a rerun. I should do it to music, because the beat is still banging away. Should I do it? Let me try it to music. Spice it up. All right, so we're gonna have to maneuver, because I only got 2 hands. So excuse me.